So guys, this has been on my mind for a while. As you guys will know, I personally believe, and I think that a lot of people would agree with me here, Big Mom is going to die at some point in the story. It's not obviously guaranteed to happen. I do think that there's a lot of clues that sort of lead to that impression, and also it's just something that is generally intuitive. Like for instance, if Big Mom is defeated at any point in the story, what happens to her after that? Usually when it comes to the big baddies that the Straw Hats defeat, they either become some sort of ally, I guess, in the future, and or they go to Imble Down. When it comes to Big Mom, no matter how many people out there want to disrespect her, she is incredibly powerful, possibly so powerful, almost too powerful for her to ever be a consistent ally in the story. Like, for instance, you think of the final battle of One Piece, Luffy is there with Big Mom to his left, Shanks to his right, Kaido behind him, Blackbeard there as well, all fighting against whoever. It just doesn't seem like something that is going to happen. They're too strong. And so if you're looking for a way to remove Big Mom from that kind of scenario, maybe like other villains in the series, you put her in Imble Down. I'm not certain if Imble Down can hold her, and even if it could, I'm not certain that Imble Down will be guarded when it comes time to, to reach the end of the One Piece story. If Big Mom is sitting in Imble Down, her entire crew will likely wage war in order to get her out. That is a huge war by itself, one that I just do not expect to see in the story. So yeah, outside of like really niche scenarios that I couldn't possibly justify, like for instance, Big Mom, after being defeated, becomes a pure pacifist who hates war and fighting of any kind and refuses to involve herself, which doesn't seem very likely. It's just simpler for her to die. And I think that this in general adds with the perception that Big Mom is part of the old generation, similar to Whitebeard. Her time is passing, and just like Whitebeard, she will die. But I don't think that this is too controversial. Obviously, you'll have people who believe various different things, but this isn't the real discussion point. What more intrigues me is how it is sort of been foreshadowed, I believe, that she will die. The actual method, which could be very, very controversial. Hey YouTube, Joeboy here. So, I want you guys to think back to the middle of the Whole Cake Island arc, after it seemed as though the Straw Hats had an opportunity to either take on Big Mom or leave with Sanji, and Sanji decided that he could not leave just yet because of the threats hanging over both Zeph and his family's life. At this point, there didn't seem to be a lot of hope for Sanji in order to both be a part of the Straw Hat crew as well as save the people that he cared to save. However, Capone came in with some measure of hope. He told the Straw Hats that he believed Big Mom could die. Although Big Mom is usually invulnerable to damage, and we could see this portrayed throughout the story afterwards as Nami's lightning bolt and all sorts of other damage Big Mom received, really didn't do all that much to her. However, there was that one time where somebody knocked over the portrait of Mother Carmel. Big Mom fell to her knees, and her knees began to bleed. So Capone thought to himself that if he could recreate that same situation, maybe even make it a little bit worse, that would be his opportunity to deal Big Mom a fatal blow. And such was the birth of the Big Mom assassination plan, which we got to see in Whole Cake Island, which was for the most part successful all the way up to the end, when Big Mom, again, her knee began to bleed. However, her shouting was so powerful that it made the rockets explode before they were able to reach her. But I want to make this very clear, guys. I don't think that Oda just introduced this little facet of Big Mom for no reason, and I fully expect to see it come up again in the story at some time before Big Mom dies. Now, just for transparency, this little scene didn't play no role in the story, even if we never see it again. For instance, it was a great opportunity for Oda to naturally share Big Mom's flashback, because it seems as though that has some relation to her ability to be invulnerable or vulnerable. Also, when talking about that specifically, I mean, there has to be a reason why this happened. It would be very un-Oda-like to sort of have this sort of random nerf to a major character and have absolutely no explanation for it. It has to tie in some way back into the powers of the world of One Piece. Which means that theoretically, even aside from Big Mom herself, this same thing could come up for some other character whose powers work in maybe a similar way. But yeah, I guess to get to the meat and potatoes of this discussion, I mean, it seems as though Big Mom's invulnerability is created because of her mind state in some way. I mean, we've rationalized this a ton in the past. I've discussed it more in depth because some of the ideas initially when the plan was really first revealed is maybe the portrait is in some way connected to her life force. So by destroying the portrait of Mother Carmel, you know, it takes away her armor. It could be related to certain inspirations Oda could have from other stories. But I think that these were all essentially debunked, as by the end of Whole Cake Island, the portrait was still destroyed, and Big Mom was no longer taking any damage. So to my eyes and to my own rationale, the only thing really that caused Big Mom's vulnerability in the middle of Whole Cake Island was just the idea of the portrait being destroyed, and it's in and of itself really reminding her of the past. And so again, we've talked about this in other videos, but I sort of rationalize this as being maybe related to Conqueror's Haki in some way, or some kind of passive willpower. Like Luffy after Ace had died, where he became essentially immobile and therefore more likely to die from his injuries, Big Mom, when she thinks about the past, it almost like breaks her will, or breaks her spirit, and in some way saps her strength. And so I think the intuitive thing to think is that this situation will never come up again, because there's no way that Big Mom, whether she fights the Strides in Elbaf or she goes down here in Wano, she didn't bring the portrait of Mother Carmel. So without that being used as ammunition, you think, okay, well, this situation will never appear again in the story. Big Mom will just have to be defeated by whatever normal means. But I don't think that the portrait is in any way necessary. The past is what's necessary. The portrait was just a quick gateway to get Big Mom into that mind state, as she got lost in the thought of Mother Carmel's disappearance. Maybe something similar to repressed memories. So yeah, let's make another thing very, very clear, at least my opinion of it very, very clear. The chances of the Mother Carmel plotline reappearing in the story for me with Big Mom is nearly 100%. It seems to me that a lot of people get stuck thinking of, in what situation, how exactly is Big Mom going to come to, realize that she killed Mother Carmel or that she's never coming back? I'm not too caught up in those. Oda will find a way, and of course we have various different characters in the story who could find a way to tell her, whether it be Streusen, Pudding with memory powers, maybe the giants in Elbaf. There was one that actually saw what happened. These are all candidates who have the real knowledge and could in some way inform Big Mom under the right circumstances. But again, guys, I'm not too much caught up in the how, because it's just something that I believe has to happen in the story, because it is a pressing question on Big Mom's mind. Where did you go, Mother? And even beyond this, I think that the Big Mom pirates need this resolution by the end of the story, because the reason why Big Mom killed Mother Carmel is the very same reason why Big Mom killed Brother Opera and probably many, many others of the Big Mom pirates over time. People that she had no intention of killing, and if she was aware, it would hurt her. But just to cover all my bases here, just because somebody died doesn't mean that they couldn't come back to life, because as we saw in the case of Moscato by the end of Whole Cake Island, he was in fact alive. So Opera could very well be just the same. In fact, I expect that to be the case. When Big Mom isn't eating the people that she cares about, if she's just simply taking their lifespan, it's pretty obvious that the lifespan can be returned. But the whole premise of this is it all comes back to family. Big Mom, as bad as she may be, she cares about her family. That seems clear enough to me based on the context clues. And if they hadn't wronged her or betrayed her specifically, then she would never kill them. I think basically she blacks out when it comes to certain circumstances regarding food, and she becomes unable to control herself. I think that for the Big Mom pirates, all of these things need to come around full circle in order for us to be satisfied with everything that we've been given. And Oda has specifically on multiple occasions hinted that there is more that Big Mom just needs to find out, and understanding that the Big Mom pirates need to eventually possess. It's an absolutely vicious cycle. Big Mom, more than anybody, is afraid of people leaving her lives, because that's what's happened to her too many times to count. She has abandonment issues, and she does not respond well when somebody tries to leave. Because she's afraid of letting people go, you have situations like Chiffon and Lola, which again is another thing that I think has to be resolved. And I feel very strongly that we're going to have a repeat of the Lola situation with Pudding, because Pudding also just wants to be free. But even if her children don't want to be free, it's hard to be loyal to her, because imagine that you are Opera or you are Moscato and she has literally killed you. You don't exactly know her mindset or why she did that or if she was in her right mind. So your thought is, or your thought easily could be, well, my mother literally killed me and she would do that whenever it pleased her. Or even if you yourself weren't killed, you saw your brothers and your sisters who you care a lot about have that happen to them for absolutely no reason. Whole Cake Island did an absolutely wonderful job of creating connections between the Big Mom pirate members themselves and the bonds between the family. Like at the end with Katakuri and Brûlé, imagine if Big Mom just killed Brûlé, where would that leave Katakuri? And how long would he put up with that? That's a hard person to be loyal to. It invites betrayal. And again, Big Mom will not let go of anybody. And then uses this perceived betrayal as a reason to justify why they needed to die. So yeah, one way or another, this all will come up. I think that there's way too much in the story for Oda to completely ignore it, whether the catalyst be Lola or Chiffon or Pudding, or the Giants, or she has another hunger attack. Hell, it could honestly be Carmel because of her connections with Cypherpole. If Cypherpole makes an appearance in this arc, they could say something. Whatever happens in Wano, or if Big Mom appears in another arc, all of these issues will come around full circle. And Big Mom will need to confront her own demons. And so this leads us back to the point of this video, which is, as Big Mom was thinking about the past and thinking about Carmel during the tea party, that was when she became vulnerable. And that is what we speculate led to her weakness. Thinking about that and maybe other things that could be similar to that would break her spirit. And I'm essentially telling you guys that I nearly 100% expect something like this to happen again in the future of the story. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about Big Mom, whether it be in Wano or any other arc, wherever it happens, Big Mom is capable of taking damage, potentially more emotionally destroyed than when simply thinking about things that she is not 100% sure of, like if it was straight up told to her that she ate Mother Carmel. That seems like the beginning of the end for Big Mom. That seems like the door that Oda has left open to have Big Mom, for lack of a better words, easily or quickly killed. Or similar to the tea party, she has a moment to regain her composure, then it seems like the prime opportunity to have Big Mom massively nerfed, so that she can be killed normally later. We know that top tier battles usually take a very long time. The only reason why Whitebeard died as quickly as he did was because he was sick and he seemed to have sort of lapses in concentration. So in order to prevent Big Mom from having, a battle with Kaido last for literally weeks, Oda might need to introduce something like this. Or if you want to put yourself out there and speculate that maybe the Strats do take out Big Mom before they take on Kaido, then this to me seems like the only way to make that feasible. Assuming that Big Mom sustains massive damage during the moment in which her defenses are removed. Or in a lot of videos recently, we've been comparing the pre and post time skip, and we've sort of compared the Wano Kuni arc with that of Marineford, and we draw parallels. In Marineford, Whitebeard was massively injured by his son, Squardo. Is Big Mom stabbed in the back by one of her children? Somebody who just sees her as being too much of a danger to her own family. I think right now that people are trying their hardest to try and understand Big Mom and Wano specifically and all the things that are going on and how can the Strats survive this. And I think that this is a very important key that we just need to keep in mind because it could become very relevant. All you need is enemies and or disgruntled family and the reveal of the past to which Big Mom begins to think about Carmel to give Big Mom a massive nerf that makes her defeat in Wano seem all the more probable. And this simultaneously will be the beginning of the setup leading to Big Mom becoming aware and really improving as a person before she finally dies. Or maybe on the flip side, the opposite happens and it actually breaks Big Mom, leading to massive carnage, where she begins to think that she has no allies whatsoever. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I had to say today. I wanted to bring this up again and remind you guys of this plot thread Because now that Big Mom is in Wano, I feel like it is just as relevant now as it was during Whole Cake Island. For me, Wano has become the equivalent of Enies Lobby to Water 7, where Whole Cake Island and Wano are in many ways the continuation of the same arc. And I'm very curious as to if people will be opposed to the idea of Big Mom being defeated in an arc where she is massively nerfed beforehand, similar to Whitebeard. Because Big Mom being nerfed in Whole Cake Island was a huge contentious point throughout all of the end of it. But yeah, as always, share your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content. And as always guys, have a wonderful day.